Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your Rune Elemental reading for the week of July 26th through August 1st. And I read for the elements instead of the zodiac. There's a video down below if you're curious as to why. And if you've never had your charts read, there is a natal interpretation chart. It's not sponsored or anything like that. Linked down below, you can check that out. It just gives you your base 12 houses with all the little signs and symbols. And then there's a 10 to 20 page description of what all those little dots mean. And it's actually pretty interesting. So with that, we will get started with our elemental readings. I'll go through each of the elements and then I'll tell you what zodiac signs they cover so you can kind of get both sides of it. Fire covers the zodiac of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or if you have fire high up in your chart, we will get started. Your first rune is Anzus, which is the ancestral and the god Odin. Color is dark blue, tarot association is death, and astrology is Mercury. So there's some very quick shifting that's happening for our fire family. Wisdom and help from someone older, magic, psychic powers, or initiation. So fire, this week is really this shifting energy where things are just not sitting the way they used to. There's also this guidance from someone older, wiser, more matured in some capacity, whether it's like at a job and this person's been there for 10 years, you've been there for 2 months, or if it's in a relationship, it's the older partner is the one that's kind of going to be leading things this week. And that doesn't mean that there's no value to what you're saying or doing. It's just saying that this person actually sees some patterns playing out and that you're going to be guided by their wisdom, honestly, which most people would be good to follow some of that. Your second rune is the Perth rune, which is the rune of fate. Color is black. Tarot association is the wheel of fortune. Astrology is Saturn. So we have mystery, chance, unexpected gain, and surprises, hidden things coming to life. So fire, you have an interesting combination here because you have death and the wheel of fortune. And those are two that both are indicating something coming to an end, a cycle closing, but a new one beginning. There's change in the air. But you also have Saturn and Mercury, which are very, very different energies altogether, because Saturn is the stern father figure who does the right thing whether you like it or not. And then you have Mercury, who's pretty quick and wants to run around a little bit. So when you think about this, there's this energy that you're being guided. There is something matured that is showing you the pathway, fire, but it's happening rather rapidly, and you may feel like you're slipping out of control, and that's not always the most comfortable feeling. But I feel, and what I'm sensing with this is something that's necessary. You've needed this to happen for a while because you've been kind of dragging your feet at whatever this is, whether it's that promotion, whether it's that proposal, whatever it is that you've been trying to work towards and you're trying to build up the courage to do. This week, it almost feels like you're not really going to get the say in the matter. It's going to happen one way or another. So strap in because here we go. So let's hop over to our Earth Elemental energy, which is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So if you're Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, or have Earth high up in your chart, this one is for you. Earth, we're starting you off with the Algiz rune, which is the rune of protection. Color is gold. Tarot association is the moon, and astrology is Cancer. So Earth, you're working with water with this first rune. Protection from danger, resisting temptations, and new beginnings are possible. So you may be stepping out into something, starting that business or asking for that promotion, and you're nervous, Earth. This is outside of the realm of things you normally do, but that's actually a good thing for you. This is a symbol of growth. This is a symbol of change, but it's also saying that source is coming in, God's source, divine, is coming in to kind of protect you from a lot of the pitfalls. So follow your inner guidance and your intuition as you go forward here, because you have divine guidance and protection. It may not feel like it in certain moments because things are being pushed along, but you really are actually being taken care of. Your second rune is the Tiawaz rune, which is Tyr, the god of war. Color is bright red, tarot association is justice, and astrology is Libra. So this is working with some of your opposite, which is air. Courage and energy, the power to weave the pattern of your own life. So, Earth, are you nervous about moving forward? Because what I'm feeling with this one is you're being offered the opportunity to weave your own story, to create the life that you want, to carve the sculpture of your future. You're nervous about it though, and that's where Algiz is coming in to say, you're protected, follow your intuition, follow your inner guidance. Things are going to work out the way they're supposed to, but Tiawaz is coming in to say, it's time to get going. It's enough is enough. You've done the planning, you've done the prep work. Let's get this show on the road. Because, Earth, I'm feeling that you have had a question for a while. Like you're curious as to how something is going to play out. You've been pushing forward and you're not sure what the end game is. At least you're telling yourself that. Because what I'm getting from this is internally, intuitively, your subconscious already knows where you're headed and knows what your desire is to create here. And so you're getting that push and also being protected, saying, you've already kind of put this into motion, so it's happening. It's better if you're consciously aware of it while it's manifesting. So see how that plays out for you, Earth, because I'm feeling you're going to be protected, but it's definitely this call to pick up your feet. Let's get going. So let's hop over to our next energy, which is the elemental energy of air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, or if you have air high up in your chart. We are starting you off with the Iawaz rune, which is the rune of the yew tree. Color is dark blue. Tarot association is the Hanged Man, and astrology is Scorpio. That's interesting. Air and earth, you're both starting off with water as your buffers here, or your protectors, or your friends. This one is protection, a time of death and rebirth, foresight, and perseverance. You also are getting the challenge of Scorpio, which is the fire aspect of water, because it's very aggressive, it's very opinionated, very gonna take care of business. But you also have the Hanged Man, which is saying it's time to look at things from a different perspective. This particular rune does not have a negative because it doesn't matter if it's up or down. So really, what's coming in is what's going to happen is what needs to happen. The Hanged Man is calling you to observe things from another's perspective. This is not a week where your personal opinions or your personal desires or drives are going to be brought forward. It's more saying, we understand where you stand, Air. Now it's time for you to observe others and see what's going on there. That Scorpio energy is really going to be a challenge, though, because you may feel internally that you're going to fight the good fight and you're going to show them. They already know. So that's really unnecessary. It's really about you coming to understanding that, okay, I've said my piece, I understand where I am. Now I need to observe this and see how it plays out. Your second rune is the Sowilo rune, which is the rune of the sun. Color is white, silver, and gold. Tarot association is the sun, as well as astrology. It's a rune of good health and happiness, wholeness, clarity, enlightenment, and success. So you have a very interesting dynamic here, Air, because you're being challenged to observe, to see things from another's opinion or another point of view, and by doing so, that's going to lead you to Sowilo and the sun, which is a really energy of good luck for you, which also ties into your color, whoops, over here, because you're yellow. But you have this energy that if you can put aside the ego, if you can put aside that Scorpio, I'm going to prove everyone wrong energy, you're actually going to have a lot bigger success. It's this call to a simple understanding. It's not meaning that you have to understand the complexities of what all's going on, because that's completely unnecessary. But it is this energy that it's time for you to stand in stillness, observe and not act. It is not a time of swift movement for the Air family. And yes, Air, you tend to want to be very mobile and want to move, but in this one, it's that pause between breaths. So you're observing, you're getting a more clear, and that's what's going to lead to your success, because it's going to open your eyes to a different perspective or a different opinion. Doesn't mean it's right, wrong, and different, but by being able to see that other side, you're going to end up in a better position. So let's hop over to our water family. Water is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, all of our fishies out there. And of course, water would get this one. Water, you're starting off with the Hagalaz rune, which is the rune of hail. Color is light blue. Terra association is the world. Astrology is Aquarius, so you're working with air here. It's unexpected setbacks or problems, letting things flow, disruptive natural or cultural events. So, water, stay grounded this week. I know your energy is coming in with air, but you also work with air and earth in the other readings. So, stay grounded this week. Keep your eyes open. Let air carry you if necessary, because Aquarius is the water bearer. So allow that to happen. The world is saying your success is really on a grander scale than what you realize. But Hagalaz is a warning. There is this energy that something is not, you're not observing something to the full clarity of what it needs to be seen as. You're moving along in the right direction, but there's some pitfalls you may not be aware of, and this is where this energy could be a very interesting dynamic for you. If you push too hard, is it going to slip? If you don't push hard enough, are you going to regress? So you've got a very interesting dynamic, but with Hagalaz, it's about pay attention to what's happening. This is not a time for blindly running along or tra-la-laing with your rose-colored glasses on. Throw those things in the trash, because you need to see reality this week. This is a week where you're going to have to pull the band-aid off and really observe what's happening, and then you're going to be able to actually make it through this without too much chaos. There's still going to be chaos, though. Hagalaz doesn't come in without raining some hail. So let's see what your second rune is and see if we can buffer some of that. Your second rune is the Algaes rune. We've already seen this one. Its protection, color is gold, Terra association is the moon, and astrology is Cancer. So this is your standing in your power. So if you're standing in your power, water, and you're balancing earth and air by staying grounded but allowing air to support you, this is where your success is going to come into play at. Its protection from danger, resisting temptation, new beginnings are possible. You have an interesting dynamic here because you have challenges and chaos, but if you follow your intuition, you ground and stay open to air's support, you're going to actually do really well. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be chaos in motion. It's saying you'll be able to handle it better. So this is your call to tap into your intuition, use your logic, your intellect, and reason, air, and stay grounded in the common sense world. Water, this is going to be a week of ups and downs for you, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it'll all end up all right, because that's not what I'm feeling. It's saying that you are walking a very delicate knife edge. You're playing, it's almost like you're playing a game and you don't know all the rules, but you think you do, which is always interesting. But you're actually being protected in the best way possible. So when you open up to your intuition, you open up to God's source, and you listen to what's being given, the rules are going to lay themselves out pretty quickly, and you'll be like, that's what I was missing. And things will progress. You're still going to play that, you'll still have to play a little bit of the game, but that's what's going to lead you to a more positive outcome. If you choose to go bullheaded and just do your own thing, may not be such a good week for you. So overall this week, there's a lot of shifting energy. We have a full moon this week. It's the shift from July into August, and there's this energy in the air, and I'm sure if you are slightly intuitive or too fully intuitive, you're going to feel it. Something is changing. There's a sensation of a new birth or a creation, and before you can have birth, you always have a little bit of pain, or a lot of pain, depending on who you talk to. And so you've got this creative thing occurring, and this is what's going on for all of the elements. And it's a matter of where is your focus and what are you using for your support? Are you relying on God's source to guide you? Are you relying on this higher consciousness? And if you are, that's where the smoother path is going to be. And I'm curious to see what happens after this. So if you have any insights or thoughts or feelings, please leave them in the comments down below. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, drop a like, all that fun stuff. But yeah, overall, I'm feeling for all elements this week. You have your individuals, but the main message is things are changing. Things are changing in ways I don't think any of us have ever seen before. And I don't think there's an easy way to predict what's about to happen. But the one thing I do know is if we're clinging and working with God's source, we're staying in touch with our angels and guides, we'll actually end up in a better place no matter what. So, with that, have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.